Darn, what is it doing?
Mute, Jamie.
Keep Walking by Rumi. Keep walking, though there's no place to get to. Don't try to see through the distances. That's not for human beings. Move within, but not the way fear makes you move. Today, like every other day, we wake up empty and frightened. Don't open the door to the study and begin reading or turn on CNN. Instead, take down a musical instrument Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are 100 ways to kneel and kiss the ground.
As we light our chalice, we share our church covenant. We promise to listen and learn together with compassion, curiosity, and an open mind. Engage in creating a warm and welcoming community. Work together and beyond our walls to address social and environmental challenges. And with our time, talent, and treasure, support our church and its mission.
Thank you so much, Nuke, Luke, and Nora. We're so glad to see you guys this morning. So glad to see all of you this morning. My name is Reverend Pam Romancic, and I serve the Unitarian Church in Hinsdale, Illinois. And what a morning to be together. I'm especially sorry that we can't hug and smile and be together to share a sense of hope and possibility on this day. We've been looking at spirituality this month, that force which animates our lives. And we're looking at how we can find ways to connect and strengthen that connection. Now, there is a lot of energy out there in this country today, a new hope for many that we might be able to find a way forward to heal the giant divisions in our country and move forward together. Focusing on our spiritual core is a path to reducing that division, to let go of demonizing those who see the world a little bit differently or even a lot differently than we do, and to remembering our core connections. Now, we have some thoughtful and beautiful words and music for you this morning to comfort, to ease, and hopefully to fill you in your seeking for that deeper peace that is always available. If you really enjoyed today's service, I hope you'll share it with someone who might need to be reminded of that eternal in life. The recorded versions of our services are up on YouTube on the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale's channel, and you can watch any of the services from the past few months. Our community has a lot going on, even in these pandemic times. So I encourage you to visit our website, www.hinsdaleunitarian.org, and follow us on our Facebook page. If you're new and would like to receive our regular communications, you can leave information in the chat box, or you could click the contact button on YouTube or on our website. Now, there's a couple things that are going on that you should probably know about. So just briefly, folks who are on the Zoom call are invited to stay for a brief virtual coffee hour after the service. Next Sunday, we're going to be holding a climate grief ritual at 3 p.m. on Zoom. It's a time to lament and loss the destruction of our planet and to find some solidarity that we might move forward together. Also, one of our biggest fundraisers for the year is coming up on the 21st at 7 p.m. called Zoomraiser. So of course, it's on Zoom. We'll have an amazing selection of items to bid on, and the proceeds are an essential part of supporting the work of this community. Pam Fodor is going to share a bit more of that at the end of the service, right before the virtual coffee hour. We also will have our special gathering on the Sunday before Thanksgiving. But since we can't be together to share soup, we invite you all to send in pictures of your families sharing a meal together and something that each of you are thankful for. And we will include those in our service that day. In our Caring Circle news, we have to share that Verna O'Brien is back in Bolingbrook Hospital. She's got an infection in her leg and is reported to have a lot of pain. Unfortunately, her mom, Jerry, can't connect to the service without Verna's laptop, so they're both incommunicado right now. So if you can reach out to both of them or keep them in your thoughts and prayers, that would be greatly appreciated. We're also happy to say that Linda Rio shared that she continues to improve and is getting ready to go back to work soon, so yay for that. She's so grateful for the support she received. And Michaela is also healing, but still has some struggles and appreciates the love and care she's getting from everyone. Finally, we spend big hugs and special care to surround Kathy Salzano, who was recently diagnosed with cancer. We love you, Kathy. A little later in our service, we're going to hold a space for meditation and prayer. If you need support or know of someone else who does, please type your intention in all caps into the chat box or connect to the office and let us know so that we can respond and help as needed. I want to thank Paula Sage at Dvorak, who was our worship associate last week, and I forgot to announce that. And I'm going to thank Ron Solberg, who is our worship associate this week. And of course, we're always so grateful for Jamie Passman, Suzanne Williams, and Jean Schaefer, who make all of this possible. We now hold space together for our opening song.
Good morning. It's time to find out what this week's tool of the week is. let's go into our toolbox and find the paint and the paintbrush. UUism is a faith that will help you express your inner voice and inner thoughts. We can use personal expression as a way to grow spiritually. Making art, for some, is a way to connect with their small, still voice and to find spirit. I hope you have a chance this week to find a way to express yourself and bring you peace and inner light. Take care. Be well.
Humanity might not make the leap the earth has placed before us. There are simply no answers to some of the great pressing questions. You can continue to live them out, making your life a worthy expression of leaning into the light, going up again and again to the extraordinary circumstances of being alive in the light of courage and uncertainty is just what happens when you open up. We have forgotten our reverence for the earth and put aside justice where it retards profitability. Well, the earth is bringing us back to our knees again and back to each other in one way or another. There is another response to the horror besides self-destruction. There is another way to enter into the bleakness that human beings are capable of and not allow it to define what it is to be human. Thus ends the reading.
Good morning.
Baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
Good morning. I have a confession to make. I am not serving. I'm not showing up in the world as I would like to these days. I wish I were, but it feels like there's so many things that I'm not getting done. So many times that I don't make that phone call, or I make the first or the second phone call, but not the third or fourth that's going to get me connected with people. So many ways that I kind of feel lost. I feel like the world is beyond me. I want to say, I suspect some of you may be feeling the same. I'm going to ask you to relax into this music. Relax. The weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Wherever you're sitting, hold your body. Whatever tension is behind your eyes, in your chest, holding in your stomach, throughout your whole body. Whatever's up there. So baby, you don't have to say the weight of the world on your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Move in your chair. Let go. Breathe out the tension, the anxiety, all of those things that we cannot change, all of those things that are beyond us. Stop holding them. Let them go. You exist in this world. You are a gift of this world. You have all that you need.
Hi, I'm Shar Sepek. As a member of our church, I recognize the importance of reaching out and welcoming everyone, no exceptions. The Night Ministry, a Chicago non-denominational social services organization, shares that philosophy. The homeless, the hungry, those that are not welcomed even by their own families will find a meal, medical care, a warm bed, and people who are supportive. I know that your donation will be put to good use by the dedicated staff at the Night Ministry. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Darren Howard, serving as treasurer on the board of the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale. This is the time in our service when we remember the good things the church does in the world, and we invite you to help support our work. You can go to our website at www.hinsdaleunitarian.org and click on the donate button, or click on the donate button in the weekly news and notes. Or you can simply mail your check to the church office at 17 West Maple in Hinsdale. It's important to me that I give as much as I can to the church because it has done so much for me with the light it brings to my life and the light it brings to the world. We sincerely thank you for your support and encourage you to also share with the church as much as you can, even in these difficult times. Even though we can't be together right now, I invite you to say our offering words together. This church is made up of all of us. It is what we learn together, the work we do together, the fun we have together. It is what we share with one another, with the people around us, and with all the world.
Adversity is a natural part of being human. It is the height of arrogance to prescribe a moral code or health regime or spiritual practice as an amulet to keep things from falling apart. Things do fall apart. It is in our nature to do so. When we try to protect ourselves from the inevitability of change, we are not listening to the soul. We are listening to our fear of life and death, our lack of faith, our smaller ego's will to prevail. To listen to your soul is to stop fighting with life, to stop fighting when things fall apart. When they don't go our way, when we get sick, when we are betrayed or mistreated or misunderstood, to listen to the soul is to slow down, to feel deeply, to see ourselves clearly, to surrender to discomfort and uncertainty, and to wait. Thus ends the reading.
Van, what are your thoughts? It's well, it's easier to be a parent this morning. It's easier to be a dad. It's easier to tell your kids character matters. It matters. Telling the truth matters. Being a good person matters. And it's easier for a whole lot of people. If you're Muslim in this country, you don't have to worry if the president doesn't want you here. If you're an immigrant, you don't have to worry if the president's going to be happier to have babies snatched away or send dreamers back for no reason. This is vindication for a lot of people who have really suffered. You know, I can't breathe. You know, that wasn't just George Floyd. That was a lot of people that felt that they couldn't breathe. Every day you're waking up and you're getting these tweets and you just don't know, and you're going to the store and people who have been afraid to show their racism are getting nastier and nastier to you, and you're worried about your kids and you're worried about your sister. And can she just go to Walmart and get back into her car without somebody saying something to her? And you spent so much of your life energy just trying to hold it together. And this is a big deal for us just to be able to get some peace and have a chance for a reset. And the character of the country matters. And being a good man matters. You know, I just want my sons to look at this. Look at this. You know, it's easy to do it the cheap way and get away with stuff, but it comes back around. It comes back around, and this is a good day for this country. I'm sorry for the people who lost. For them, it's not a good day, but for a whole lot of people, it's a good day.
That's a lot of emotion for Unitarian Universalists on a Sunday morning. But I suspect that many folks here with us this morning agree. Joe Biden's win does feel like a good day for America. And we hope and we pray that we will go back to making real progress in eradicating the effects of systemic racism, that Black and brown people and white people on the margins can all breathe a little easier. You may have noticed the title of today's service is What's Happening? 2 months ago, when I had to come up with the title, I suspected that we might not know by today what happened on Election Day. And even yesterday morning, when I wrote my first sermon, we didn't know. That sermon was focused on not knowing, which didn't work so well after about noon yesterday. We know something. We know that Joe and Kamala Harris have amassed enough votes to secure the election and will be our presidential team for the next 4 years. Breathe. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go. We need to take a moment to just be grateful. To be grateful that democracy worked, despite coordinated voter suppression and efforts to delegitimize the process. To be grateful that in a record turnout of voters during a pandemic, we elected a sane and decent man to the highest office in the land. Be grateful that we might begin to put the hateful rhetoric of the past 4 years behind us and begin to heal. That's my hope. But I'm sorry to say, we do have to acknowledge that while Biden got a record 75 million votes, Trump got a record 70 million. Nearly half of this country voted for a continuation of the past 4 years. And I have to say, to me, that feels a little bit scary. Now, some of them are hardcore white nationalists, yes, but a whole lot more are our neighbors, our friends, our relatives, maybe even fellow members of the church. People who looked at what was happening and saw something completely different. I think the title of my original service still stands. What's happening? How have our information streams gotten so spread apart? How can we possibly create a common narrative with a shared set of facts upon which we can do the rebuilding that we so desperately need? I loved that at the end of Van Jo's piece, he thinks of the people that are hurting because Trump lost. He acknowledges their pain and says he's sorry for it. And I believe it is sincere, because I am sorry for their pain too. Because I don't believe that all Trump voters are terrible, or the deplorables that Hillary called them. I believe that many of them feel pulled by something they cannot explain, some fear of the unknown or of a future they can't control, and that for them, Trump tapped into that fear and posed as a bulwark against all of the bad things happening. If folks listen to a media fitting that set of information points, which painted Trump as a hero and a savior, it's understandable. With that background, Trump looks great. But it's not just the right-wing media which slants the truth. I know that. While reporting more verifiable facts, the left also spins narratives with one final goal in mind: profit. A lot of the fear in our household has come because of our drug of choice, MSNBC, saying over and over and over again the horrible things that could happen during and after the election. The quiet of Election Day seemed a surprise. I started feeling angry that all the hype had gotten under my skin. Started understanding the fear that right-wing media watchers must feel all the time. Fear makes us tune in. Fear gets us to go back again and again, and our viewing brings in more dollars to media conglomerates. It's not a good path for a healthy country, but it's a great way to amass a lot of money. My first sermon, the one I jettisoned, was maybe a little bleak. I talked about the collapse of civilization, but in a good way. And I'm going to revisit that later in the year, because in the big picture, not all that much has changed. We are still separated by a tremendous divide. But we should feel good today. But in the weeks and months ahead, the real work begins. Because the same folks who thwarted President Obama at every turn are going to be waiting for Joe Biden. The same misinformation machinery which fomented this divide will still keep churning. They've been emboldened by those 70 million votes that Trump claimed, and by the record amount of money people made by watching and listening to their vitriol. This election was not the repudiation of indecency that so many of us hoped for. A story has been coming up for me this week. Many of you may remember Dave Lloyd's Oscar-worthy performance a few years back on a skit we had during the service when he played a farmer who had a simple response to life. In the Taoist tale, when the hard-working farmer's horse ran away, all of his neighbors came to sympathize on his terrible bad luck. But Dave simply replied, maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see. Soon after, his horse came back bringing a whole herd of wild horses, to which his neighbors rejoiced in his good fortune. But Dave only replied again, maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see. After that, Dave's son was working to train one of the new horses, was thrown and badly broke his leg, and his neighbors lamented only to hear the same reply, maybe yes, maybe no, we'll see. Then a war broke out, and the sons of all the neighbors were conscripted while Dave's son stayed home at healing his leg. The neighbors were jealous of his good fortune, but Dave still held the same response. Maybe yes, maybe no, we will see. It's a reminder that much of what goes on in the world is well beyond our own limited vision. There has been mourning and lament the entire duration of Trump's term by a large section of the population. And yes, horrible, hurtful, awful things have come out of his time. But we have also learned things that were there all along, but that much of the country couldn't see. We become aware of the ingrained racism that has a deep hold in our government, in our policing, in our justice system. We've learned undeniably how duplicitous our politicians can be, baldly so, although I know many of us have suspected it for a long time. We've learned of the vastness of the gap between the presentation of facts on one side, the left, and the presentation of facts from the right in the media. And you know what? None of these things go away because Joe Biden is our president. We might hope to get back to some sense of calm and normalcy. But I'm going to say right now, we cannot settle back into our old ways because we feel safe. We know now how unsafe many of our neighbors and fellow Americans have felt for a very long time. We know now that our justice system does not serve Black and white alike. We know that there are deep chasms in our country that need to be healed. I know how easily I can put someone into a them category and forget their full humanity. The question becomes, what do we do with all of this new and very hard-won knowledge? Will we duck our heads in the sand and pretend that everything's all right? Or will we dig in and do the hard work of figuring out what has gone wrong and how we can live out the beautiful and true values this country has claimed to be founded upon, those values of truth and liberty and justice for every single person? Joe Biden said that this election was a contest for the soul of the country, and I do believe that is true. Spirituality is about strengthening our connection to soul, to the life force which animates all, not only people, but countries. As people of faith, we can celebrate and yell and scream and shake out all of the weight that felt like it's crushing upon us these past 4 years. But then we need to figure out how to talk to our neighbors, how to dig below that us versus them natural human tendency and find the common core values which can unite all of us. I wanted to share that clip of Van Jones this morning because his response revealed the depth of relief that some of us are feeling. And it also expressed a concern for the rest of America, who are now feeling their own fear, feeling that they are going to be left behind. Just because some of us are not about healing doesn't mean the rest of us are not required to do this real and important work. And it might be even harder knowing that it rests on our shoulders. I believe our most crucial task is going to be to find that solid common ground, a place not contingent on who is president or what is happening around us, but only on our deep and abiding connection to the truth and reality of life. Each of us walks on this earth for a very short time. We have the opportunity to smell the flowers, to listen to the birds, to feel the wind upon our face. From a place of presence and connection, one that eschews the fear flowing for the profit's sake, we must claim and share our peace, our love, our care for a world that so desperately needs it. Your job, today and going forward, is to find those things which bring you alive, which make you grounded in your eternal moment, and then bring that peace that you find to our troubled world. That's all. You could do it. Better yet, we can do it together. Amen, and blessed be.
My father sure could use a little mercy now. The fruits of his labor fall and rot slowly on the ground. His work is almost over. It won't be long, he won't be around. I love my father, he could use some mercy now. And my brother could use a little mercy now. He's a stranger to freedom, shackled to his fear and doubts. The pain that he lives in is almost more than living will allow. I love my brother, he could use some mercy now. My church and my country could use a little mercy now. As they sink into a poison pit, it's gonna take forever to climb out. They carry the weight of the faithful who follow them down. I love my church and country, they could use some mercy now. Every living thing Yeah, we all could use a little mercy now. I know we don't deserve it, but we need it anyhow. We hang in the balance, dangle between hell and hallowed ground. Every single one of us could use some mercy now. Every single one of us could use some mercy now.
Our Moral Duty by Etty, Hillesum. Ultimately, we have just one moral duty, and that is to reclaim large areas of peace within ourselves, more and more peace, and then take that peace and reflect it towards others. The more peace there is in us, the more peace there will be in a troubled world.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above a fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of its truth, the warmth of this community, nor the fire of our commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world.
In the Dark Time by Clarissa, Pinkola, Estes. In the dark time, there is a tendency to veer towards fainting over how much is wrong or unintended in this world. Do not focus there. There's also a tendency, too, to fall into being weakened by persevering on what is outside our reach, by what cannot yet be. Do not focus there. We are needed, and that is all we can know.
Take a look around me. My office is filling up with wonderful Zoom Razor items. Behind me are the paintings of Peter Crowder. I'm wearing a beautiful woven scarf by Nancy Weil. And I'm still collecting bread makers and gift cards and cookies delivered to your doorstep. These are just a few of the things we have to offer at this year's Zoom Razor. Have you been wanting to go on vacation or sample some fun beers? We have got the deals for you. We can't wait to have you bid on these wonderful items, and we're happy to add your donations to our catalog, and we can't wait to see you on November 21st for our Zoom Razor.
Oh, thanks everyone. Thanks, that was amazing, Ron. I hadn't heard it before. And thank you, Jamie. This little light of mine is fabulous. Now you're invited to stay join everybody for a short time of fellowship and conversation as we have our virtual coffee hour. Jamie, are we going to break into groups today, or are we just going to stay in one large group? What's the plan for today?
Breakout room.
Breakout rooms. Okay, we're going to meet in breakout rooms. We'll probably stay just about 4 to 5 people. We'll stay for maybe about 7 or 8 minutes, and then you can come back to the larger group if you want. As always, while everybody is invited to stay, we do understand that there's life going on even in a pandemic. So no worries if you have to leave immediately or even in the middle of your session. This is designed to be an opportunity, not an obligation.